Hello, everybody, and welcome to Coby's Brain. It is great to see everyone today. We have a great show planned for today. We have a great show planned for you today. We've got some very exciting topics to discuss, including the second and third episodes of Star Wars, and even better, we have two very special guests with us today, Teddy Toast and Gummy Worman will be returning. Gummy Worman's first appearance on the show, which is very exciting, to talk about a new Netflix show called Midnight Gospel. We'll also be having a little fun Coby Stop Blog talk. So let's get started with Coby's entertainment blog. Okay, so yeah, this is Coby's Brain, episode 9. We are going to start with talking about Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. So, Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones was a 2002 film directed by George Lucas. There was a lot going on in this film. One of the more notable elements of it was the romance between Anakin and Padme, which was adorable. But it felt a little cheesy for a Star Wars movie. I kind of described it as if Teen Nick had control of a Star Wars movie. So, didn't love that, but, you know, it's a really cool story, actually. So, there's a separatist movement in the Republic led by Sith Lord Count Dooku, and as a result of that, emergency war powers go to Chancellor Palpatine. Clones and other Jedis must rescue Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Padme from the separatist droids, and the Clone Wars begin to protect the Republic against the separatist droid army. Pretty exciting stuff. My favorite scene was for sure the giant lightsaber battle with all the Jedis and clones fighting against the droids. Just really cool, and really enjoyed this movie. It gets a lot of hate, and I can definitely see why. It's a little cheesy. The story is, the story of all the prequels is really just to set up Episode 4, and that's pretty apparent. But, I grew up on these movies. Star Wars Episode 2 is a classic. Loved the movie. Gave it an 8 out of 10. Pretty good review. For the record, 8.10s usually deserve viewing. Okay. Next up, we're going to talk about Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. So, Coby's brain, or Coby, has fed me recently all of the Star Wars films, and as a result of that, this is the final one final one of the prequels we're going to review. So it's the final of the prequels. It is also Coby's favorite of the prequels because it's it's really well done. I really thought that at this point in Star Wars, like the visual effects and CGI, it's gotten there. It's like totally believable. It's beautiful, if anything. And I thought they just did an excellent job with so many of the visual effects, heavy scenes. The planet where Obi-Wan and Darth Vader fight with the lava, like, are you kidding me? Epic. So Anakin turns to the dark side, is believable because he's scared of Padme dying in childbirth. Great. Order 66. Senator Palpatine, his plan the whole time was to get complete control over the Republic, which he managed to do because of the Clone Wars, and then he, through Order 66, was able to get the clones to kill their commanding Jedi officers. Pretty crazy stuff. This is how we feel about Emperor Palpatine. Bad guy. We don't like him. We don't like emperors, dictators. bad news. Boo Emperor Palpatine. Best fight in the entire prequel series. Obi-Wan versus Anakin. No question about that. That was a crazy fight. Major adversaries. Just really did it for me. Did a great, and I think the film did a great job of setting up the events of Episode 4. Wrapped up the prequels really nicely. Fed into the original trilogy. Loved this movie. Gave it an 8.5. 2005, directed by George Lucas. Definitely recommend Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. All right, and we're back.
The chat says great.
Okay, sorry for that brief technical difficulty, everyone. We are here on Coby's Brain with our two guests, Teddy Toast and Gummy Worman, to talk today about the Netflix animated series Midnight Gospel.
Yeah, I can dive into this. The last episode was actually my favorite, and I think that applies to a bunch of other people too. I'll be honest, when I started watching the show, it wasn't that compelling. I thought the premise was cool, but I thought that it was really hard to actually take anything away from each episode. Felt like there was a lot going on. But I think what the 8th episode did the best was it actually drew Clancy's story back in, and it made things feel really personal. And it kind of highlighted why this sort of podcast animation format can work so beautifully. So I thought that was my favorite, and that's why.
I totally agree.
Honestly, in theory, it sounded really cool to me, but when I first started watching it, I realized that if I was looking at the screen, I would get super distracted by all like the crazy visuals, and I wouldn't actually hear the podcast. But then when I like wasn't looking at the screen and just listening to the podcast, it was like, honestly, it was a little boring. I feel like this is one of the shows where I'd have to watch like multiple times to fully understand it. Just because maybe my brain is weird or whatever, but like just seeing all the psychedelic visuals and then listening to like super trippy things they're saying were just kind of like almost like a brain overload.
That makes a lot of... I think I can echo that a little bit.
Yeah, actually, just to do what Gummy Worman was saying, I thought it's interesting to see either the animation in isolation or just listen to what the podcast host and guest were talking about. I think at some points in the series, those two things were diametrically opposed. Like there would be something that happens in the animation that's super absurd, almost comical, but it doesn't fit with the seriousness of the topic that they're talking about. And at the worst case, it actually distracts from what they're talking about. So I think that, in the best instances, the podcasting animation format works when the animation is actually reflective of what they're talking about, or it actually adds more meaning to it rather than distracting from it.
I thought it was really interesting and kind of clever. If they were talking about Earth from kind of like an Earth perspective, maybe people like zone out or think it's some like weird form of like propaganda. But I think since, all of these conversations were taking place in these crazy worlds with characters, people are able to take themselves out of the context of Earth and really of like the bigger meaning behind everything. So in a way, I guess the crazy visuals were a distraction, but at the same time, kind of like a tool to get people to like focus on like a deeper meaning.
Totally agree with that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for that discussion. We ended up giving Midnight Gospel an 8.7. All right, welcome back. So, now that we're back, we're going to delve a little deeper into this question of whether it's possible for stars to be conscious. Who would like to go first?
Yeah, I mean, I can dive into this. I think this is one of those topics where we can't know either way, but for people who are fans of science fiction, for people who are fans of Three Body Problem, there's just so much that we still don't know about the universe yet. There's so many instances where we've been proven wrong over time. And I think if there's no guarantee either way, then there's actually no harm in believing like the most, fantastical thing that's possible in the universe right now. And I think it's entirely possible that stars are conscious.
Thanks, Toast. It's super theoretically possible, but a bunch of questions need to be asked first, like, what even is consciousness to begin with? None of us know what the answer to this question is. It's one of those difficult questions, but it's one of those topics we're going to keep delving into on this show, these impossible questions that maybe will yield answers thanks to science, but maybe science just can't take us to, but we'll see soon enough. Anyways, thank you for watching Coby's Brain. Give a shout out to our guests, Sagar Ramesh and Brenda Chen. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Woo!
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
And don't forget to give a little shout out to Ron Roach on the drums.
Ron Roach,
hey,
let's go.
Woo!
And don't forget about Boot, Gordis, and Cruncher on the guitar.
Only the best of the best. The Roots wish they were this good.
And Coby on the keys.
Coby.
All right, everyone, thanks so much for watching. And that is our show. We'll see you again next time. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye, guys. Go me out.